Cyberpunk Uncensored.
Hey, what's up, choombas? This Cyberpunk Red crash course tutorial is all about cover. All about taking cover during combat and how that works. Before I get into that though, let me just assure you, this crash course is going to be just as good as all the other ones, even though I'm not wearing a Cyberpunk shirt. I know I always wear a Cyberpunk shirt, but today I'm wearing a Stankmouth shirt. It was the first film I ever directed and produced that actually got distribution. It's called Halitosis: The Legend of Stankmouth. You can check it out on Amazon Prime. And in fact, it has my wife, Valerie, who plays Raven in our weekly ongoing Cyberpunk Red game in it. She plays one of the lead actresses, one of the lead roles in there. She's an actress in it. So check it out. But yeah, back to the tutorial, back to taking cover. The reason I wanted to make this video is because I've been seeing a lot of debate online about it and people not really getting it right. And I was one of those people up until recently when I talked to Jay Gray at R.Talsorian Games about it and clarified a few things that I was confused about. The reason I was confused is because I took the rules out of the book. A couple things, I guess I didn't interpret them right, or they just led me wrong a little bit. One of those things was turns happen at the same time. You know that a whole round is roughly 3 seconds. Everybody's turn is happening within that 3 seconds, and it's all roughly happening at the same time. The other thing is it talks about how you're not really taking cover unless you're under full cover. So it's either full cover or no cover. So I never imagined that you could like pop out, shoot, and then pop back under cover, because during the enemy's turn, the target, that while you popped out and shot them, they were able to shoot you because you didn't stay fully under cover, and it all kind of happens at the same time. So you can see how you can interpret it that way and play combat that way, but that's not right. It's not right. And I talked to Jay Gray, like I said, and I cleared it up. And instead of me explaining that, let me just read the email direct, word for word, and then that way, you know exactly, how it should be interpreted. First off, I emailed him saying if a player pops out of cover and shoots, then takes cover, leaving the line of sight of the enemy, can the enemy still shoot them? Since it's all happening at the same time, rules would suggest yes. But then what is the point of using cover and popping out? Wouldn't it just be the same thing if they both just shot each other until someone dies? You know what I mean? So that's how I was interpreting it. If a player pops out, shoots, then takes back cover, the enemy can still shoot them as long as they were in the line of sight during that, because it's all roughly happening at the same time and they didn't stay fully behind cover. So I asked him, can the enemy still shoot them? And am I understanding that right? And Jay Gray replied, he said, "First, Rob, let me say you're the smartest game master I've ever met and probably the sexiest man I've ever seen." His words, not mine. "But to answer your question, technically speaking, it all happens during the same 3-second period, but not at exactly the same time, just more or less the same time. A good example might be a boxing match. If you see two boxers exchanging blows and both hitting within a 3-second period, but often one clearly hits before the other. And of course, because this is a tabletop RPG and not a real-time shooter, initiative order has to mean something or the rules break down quickly." That's important. So just to make sure I was understanding right, I replied, "So if someone is behind cover, they pop out, shoot, and still retain cover during their action. So when the enemy, it's their turn after that, they can't shoot the person that popped out and shot them because they popped back behind cover, unless they move to see the person or destroy the cover or hold their action until the person pops out to shoot them again. Correct?" So you see, I was just making sure that I was understanding that right. And Jay Gray replied, he said, "Rob, first let me remind you, you're the smartest game master I've ever met, probably the sexiest man I've ever seen in my life." Again, his words, not mine. I'm just reading this word for word. And then he goes on, he says, "But to answer your question, correct." So see, I'm right. I did understand it right, and you see what he said. And let me bring this up. It's all about initiative. So let me first say, we know that cover has an HP, not an SP, right? So that HP deteriorates down as it takes damage. Once it gets to 0, it's no longer cover. That's how cover works. But during combat, it's all about initiative, right? So whoever has a higher initiative, their reflex plus their 1d10, whoever has the higher one, they get the jump on everybody else during combat, during that round. So it's not happening at the same exact time. It's roughly, loosely around the same time, but it's all about initiative. So if you have the higher initiative and you're hidden behind cover, you can totally, when an enemy enters the room, you can totally pop out, shoot them, hide back behind cover. And now it's the NPC's turn who just walked in a room. They had a lower initiative. You got the jump on them. You were a little bit quicker. So you shot them. They entered the room. They got shot. They're, oh, shit. You hid back behind cover. Now it's their turn. They can't shoot you. You're hidden. They have three options. They can either shoot through that cover, try to break down the HP to 0 till there's no more cover, and then they can get to you. They can use their move action to try to get you in their line of sight, and then they can hit you. Or they can hold their action, because we know we can hold actions, hold their action until you pop out to shoot them again, and then use their action at that point. So that's how it works. That's how cover works, and I hope I cleared that up for everybody, because like I said, online I've been seeing some debating, people misinterpreting the rules and doing it their own way or how they thought it should be. And I was one of those people. I was doing it wrong. I thought I was doing it right, but it wasn't really right. Once I checked with Jay Gray and I went over the rules and I talked to my players about it, we got a better understanding, and this is how it works. And that's not to say you can't do it a different way. Once again, and as I say in all the videos, R.Talsorian Games is very flexible. They're very open to the fact that players want to make it their own, and if it's not fun for you to do it that way, by all means, make it your own. Homebrew some rules or adjust it however you want, whatever. But this is, the foundation of how they wanted it to work. This is how it should be interpreted, and this is the correct way that it should work. So that's how cover works. It's all about initiative. Hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, please give it a like, give it a share, subscribe to Cyberpunk Uncensored on both YouTube and Twitch so you don't miss any of the content I'm kicking out daily. Live gameplay, tutorials, interviews, all kinds of stuff. Also, we opened up memberships on YouTube, so now you can join us and you'll actually get some Ask Me Anything live sessions monthly. You'll see all the videos that we upload about 1 to 2 days before everybody else. It goes out to members. I'm also doing some exclusive behind the scenes videos and live streams, myself and my wife, that have nothing to do with Cyberpunk gameplay or tutorials or interviews, just about behind the scenes stuff, how we do things we do with filmmaking, collecting, comic books, and all kinds of stuff. So check that out. It's now open for members, and I'd love to have you. But other than that, it was great to see you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.